Far from the Mushroom Kingdom, it is one of our scariest places in the middle of Boo Woods, with many always ready to be turned and be afraid of what comes next. This is the Bestiary of Luigi's Mansion 1, where we unravel the mysteries behind those walls. Ghosts, boos, and even portrait ghosts on displays to live peacefully in their afterlife. We, biologists, got the chance to examine each and every species of this mansion closely and write down every single detail of their manners. Starting this documentary with our little fellas, the ghost mice. Being one of the first scenery ghost player will encounter because of their massive population, they can appear in purple or blue and will squeak around to the ground and walls without any destination. We recommend watching your step even if those little things are harmless. While ghost mice roams the corridor floor, ghost bats live on the other side, remaining perched on the ceiling, waiting for their prey to get underneath to charge them. They rarely hunt alone, but usually in packs of 4. We found 2 color variations of the ghosts being purple and yellow. Flying is a great asset for them. To be harder to catch, but with the restricted space, this skill is not at their advantage. While flying fish got the necessary space to make the skill into action. Those little ghosts live outside in the courtyard, flying around doing their own thing. They appear pink and share a resemblance to small boos. Due to the toxic waste in the basement, some flying fish adapt to become a greenish color that make them resistant to biohazard. Players should not be worried, since these ghosts cause no threat if being dodged at the right moment. Sparks are the only dangerous ghosts in the scenery category. They can be found on the basement and second floor of the mansion. In pairs of 2, these pointy red spheres get out slowly of doors and painting, ready to be touched by anything that comes near their spikes. Do not walk in them or try to capture them. This will resolve into a huge explosion, dealing massive damage to the players. Some explode as a defense mechanism, while others can explode an entire moon. Falling from the sky, Meteor Ghost can only be found on the second floor in the observatory. This inoffensive yellow ball can be picked up by the poltergeist and be shot into the sky to hit planets. Why such a small entity can destroy something that large? This is a question we will never have answers to. Our last one from this category. The Elemental Ghost, having 3 variants distinguished by their elements: fire, water, and ice. Players can locate them near the elemental source floating and waiting for them to be captured by a vacuum. These ghosts give the poltergeist new ways to traverse this mansion without getting lost. These are the only small ghosts that help players into their journey. We've yet to meet half of the bestiary yet. We'll now be entering rooms of this mansion, where all threats live. Regular ghosts are commonly found throughout those rooms, and the first one player will ever encounter is the gold ghost. Those are the weakest of the bunch, being found in a lot of rooms except the basement. They will attack their prey by doing a sucker punch at them. We can even report that gold ghosts can adapt to the poltergeist by having a variant called the Temper Terror, covering their hearts with fire. Now it's the time to get help from the water elemental ghost to drown their hearts. Its older brother, the purple punchers, are larger and slimmer. Having the same mechanism of defense, they will launch themselves right into the prey, but if they miss, they will be pissed at the player, crying like a little child. Purple punchers got the same treatment as gold ghosts by having a variant called the Flash, located usually in cold area like a fridge. Only the fire elemental ghosts can burn their heart to the ground. We cannot complete this trio without talking about the blue Twirlers. This one is bulkier than the 2 others, so be warned. This species usually smash the ground to destabilize any prey that comes near it. These ghosts guard the higher section of the mansion due to their massive damage and higher health, and can evolve into a variant called the Blue Blaze, covering their hearts with water. Now that players know the drill, ice is the solution to make Blue Blaze not move for eternity. Lurking in some rooms, grabbing ghosts are shaped differently than any other regular ghost. They are longer than taller and have 4 color variation, which is the highest number of variant in the bestiary. Lavender grabbing ghosts are the weakest of the 4, being more of an assist ghost than an aggressive one. They will attach themselves to their prey to help other ghosts do the job for them. Compared to the red grabbing ghost, these variants evolve more aggressive. They will hunt player down by grabbing them to choke them to death. Turquoise grabbing ghosts are the same as the red ones, but are invisible to the human eyes. The only threat for this ghost is a mirror that can easily spot them. Lastly, the purple grabbing ghost is similar to the turquoise variant, but can only be spotted by their shadows. If players encounter one of them, we recommend players to struggle to get out of this nightmare. But not every ghost is aggressive. Garbage can ghost is one of them. These green tall species are inoffensive to the players. They are always seen eating bananas casually. After they finish their meals, they will throw the peel on the ground. Watch out for the hazard that come with it. Some players don't look at the ground when moving, and this will make everyone slip away to the ground. These species don't care about anything except eating, and we know another ghost that can get along very well with them. These are uncommon ghosts that can only be found in the dining room. The waiters are small light blue ghosts that assist a stronger ghost that we will discuss later in the documentary. They are not a threat to the player and only do their job of serving food to other species. We can see them backtracking to the kitchen when no food is found on the table. Since they are on the bottom of the food chain, it's their way of getting appreciation from other ghosts so they can live their afterlife in peace. Armed with a spear, ghost guys are a species that resemble Shy Guy. They can be found in many colors and players need to be very careful with these ghosts. Ghost guys have a mask to cover their gloomy yellow eyes, but if taken, they will suddenly attack player by stabbing them with their spears. They also have a variant called the Dancing Ghost Guy, only found in the ballroom. They appear in pairs of two and dance all their afterlife in the air, hiding themselves in tombstones and chests of the mansion. Mr.Bones are the only skeleton in the Bestiary. They usually reside outside the mansion in the courtyard. They move themselves only in pile of bones, and when they are ready to attack, these ghosts reassemble to throw bones at the players. It's a rare case where we see ghosts using range attack to defend themselves, and we still don't know if Mr. Bones are in the same family as Dry Bones. That's a mystery we biologists will have to dig deeper into. Now moving on to the tidal way of the mansion, lives the bowling ghost. This type of ghost use a bowling ball to strike the player down. Some even say that they are staying in those hallways because it's a base place to throw a bowling ball, since it's reminiscent of a bowling alley. Even if this species is aggressive, players should not feel terrified by them with their life bar of 0, which is a single one-hit KO with the poltergust. If someone covers the ground, one should cover the high ground. The ceiling surprise are white ghosts that have extremely good camouflage. They hide on the ceiling, waiting for the prey to get close. When being in a good range, they will come out of the ceiling and scare them. Sadly for them, nothing else happened after that. Having a HP bar of 0, the determination of only scaring players can cost them their life. That's where the variants come in. The purple bombers are recognizable with their purple appearance. The only difference, they will drop a bomb while scaring their prey, causing massive damage to the player. If a purple bomber scares you, we recommend player running as far away from the bomb. This mansion is enormous, being 4 floors tall with plenty of room to visit. If lucky, players may find a Speedy Spirit, a pale blue ghost with a base HP of 10, hiding in every props available for them. We found some in crates, table, wardrobes, and much more. If Speedy Spirits are found, they will run away at high speed, but if players catch them, they will be rewarded with a lot of money. Being now an expert of seeking by capturing a lot of Speedy Spirits, the gold mice are the next challenge. Those small gold mice appear when finding a little piece of cheese in the mansion. They are not a threat to the player, but harder to catch. If luck is with you, they can appear randomly while navigating in the mansion. We wish you good luck to win the lottery. Now we are getting into some scarier species, called Portrait Ghost, having much more unique threats compared to regular ones we just met. With every single one having a huge life bar of 100, these ghosts have other ways of getting contained. Let's follow up with the first Portrait Ghost. Father of the family, Neville is the first Portrait Ghost player will encounter during their journey. Passing away without being able to finish all his books, He lives his afterlife finishing them all in the study room. We would avoid bothering Neville too much while reading. This can cause flying books to appear and be thrown at this prey. Containing this ghost is as simple as letting him yawn. Just next door to the left, Lydia can be spotted brushing her hair in the master bedroom. Married to Neville and mother of 3 children, she couldn't care less of her family but more on her appearance. In our research, we found out that she hides her secret saving throughout the mansion for her afterlife. Explaining why the mansion is full of money. Containing this ghost should not be a problem, messing with Lydia's hair could be just enough to get her attention. Born as a baby ghost, Chauncey is the first boss player we'll encounter. Sleeping in the nursery room, we would be careful before waking this baby up. By reading Neville's note, this gives us a proof that Chauncey is by far the scariest ghost of the family. Throwing him a ball at his face will trigger a fight, which will make this ghost grow enormous and ready to murder his prey with his toys. If this occurs to any players, we recommend containing Chauncey as fast as possible by throwing a giant ball at his face. We don't advise doing this at home. Throwing a ball at the face of a baby is never the answer. We will get back to the family later. Dancing in the ballroom, the Floating Whirlindas are the only duo of ghosts that haunt this mansion. Before dying, this duo were local waltz champion but sadly unable to compete anymore due to their missing feet. Containing them should be an easy task since the Floating Whirlindas are not aggressive to the player and should wait for the right pose to reveal their hearts. We have unknown data why these ghosts are the only one to be captured at once, but sometimes some people live everything together, even after life. While traversing the first floor, players will cross paths with Shivers. This old butler can easily be spotted holding a chandelier in the hallway searching for his master's will. Containing him requires fire since this poor soul is scared of it, maybe pointing to the reason of his demise. Lighting up his chandelier will make Shivers run away as fast as possible from it, making this L item his own enemy. One can even hear piano on the first floor. Melody Pianissima is our composer in action. She was an expert pianist but sadly passed away at the age of 26. This fan-favorite ghost calmed her bad temper by spending her afterlife playing piano. We even heard rumors that if players play music in the conservatory, Melody will appear playing video game music due to her love of the hobby. Containing her requires the player to avoid getting hit by her music sheet and destroying all of her work. We also learned that Shivers got a love struck for Melody and is the reason why he roams the hallway near Melody's room. And we think that the information is the most creepy thing about this mansion. When piano isn't playing, we notice a loud eating noise from Mr.Luggs. Covering himself into darkness, this optional ghost is not to be messed with. He loved eating so much that he passed away eating himself to death. We can also see that even after death, he is still not satisfied. Now passing his afterlife, eating a huge buffet for eternity. Players should not remove his plate from the table because they will be Mr. Luggs' next meal. If this occurs, the only escape is to contain him. This ghost throws fireball that deal enormous damage, but if exhausted, now is their chance to counterattack. Let's take a walk outside the mansion to the graveyard. Spooky is the one guarding the sacred place, being the only portrait ghost animal of this mansion. He's always seen sleeping in his doghouse, letting no one pass further. Containing him is a double-edged sword, needed to be woken up and get out of the way to enter the graveyard. Players will need a bone to have his attention or else they will get mauled to death. If done correctly, Bogmire will be the second boss for players, waiting on the higher tombstone of the graveyard. This creature is no living being. With hard evidence, we found out that Bogmire is a creation of the mansion Fear and Despair. This ghost creates an area to trap any players without attacking them by draining their life with fear. Sadly, many succumb from this gooey creature. Containing this is an hard task and need the help of the poltergeist by drowning Bogmire with his own shadows. Training in the rec room, Biff Atlas is a bodybuilder that is inoffensive and optional to the player. This ghost will only attack by self-defense, if being punched by a punching bag. We know that Biff Atlas' favorite flower are lilies and that gives us, biologists, a lot of information concerning his personality. White lilies represent beauty and innocence, which we can already see in his temper, but also represent grief and death. That is a wonderful addition to our research. We are also theorizing that Biff Atlas is related to Melody, both being 26 years old, blonde hair, and their rooms are next to each other in the mansion. Sadly, no evidence was found to back this up. Let's take a bathroom break on the second floor of the mansion, where Miss Petunia takes an eternal shower. She was doing modeling work and was the Miss Ghost runner-up for 6 years. Do not be fooled by her, she attracts her prey by releasing a beautiful shadow of her on the shower curtain. Players always fall into this trap. On the other side, they will encounter the real Petunia, ready to attack. Containing this ghost requires the player to use the Ice Elemental Ghost to freeze the water, making this first impression really cold. We received this information from Nana's note, the oldest ghost of the mansion. She once played a prank on Miss Petunia by putting ice in her bath. Nana passed away before finishing knitting her scarf, now living her afterlife knitting endlessly, making her scarf to 871 feet. To contain her, players need to shoot 3 balls of yarn on Grandma while she drives her rocking chair. Since she is keeping the key to the twin brothers, we theorize that Nana might be the mother of either Neville or Lydia, located on the second floor like the other family members. Relaxing in his own corner, Slim Bankshot can be seen playing pool in the BR room. Slim is recognized to be a legend in the world of competitive pool, but never had the chance to play with a living soul. This ghost will continue his afterlife playing 3 ball and never harm anything that comes near him, minding his own business. To contain Slim, players should take note of the fight against Nana. Just need to hit those 3 BR balls on him. We don't know anything about Slim's affinity with other ghosts, but a statue of him can be found in the courtyard of the mansion. Completing the family, Henry and Orville are the twin brothers of Neville and Lydia. We don't have a lot of footage of both since these ghosts love to hide. We recommend not accepting their invitation to play hide and seek with them. They will call anyone cheaters and start attacking anyone who plays with them. If players want to contain them, they need to destroy their favorite toys, being a car and a plane. We learn with our data that their names were chosen because of their favorite toys. Henry Ford for the invader of the Ford automobile, and Orville Wright for the invader of the plane. Our friendliest portrait ghost, Madame Clairvoya, is the only ally players will encounter in this mansion. Located in the fortune teller's room, she will only reveal herself if the player lights up her crystal ball. With Clairvoya's help, players can see nearly 49 days into the future due to her close connection to the spirit world. After finding 5 items for her, she will contain herself without any problem to help players continue their journey at ease. Only appearing in total darkness, Uncle Grimly is the one who sealed the breaker's room in the basement when a power outage occurs in the mansion. He resides in the wardrobe rooms, staying idle listening to the silence that comes with it. Containing him is more of a chore to the player than difficult, since no sign can help them to determine why he's staying in this specific room. We also think that Uncle Grimly is the brother of either Neville or Lydia, to continue the family members of this mansion. Going up to the 3rd floor, the Clockwork Soldiers are animated toys that guard the entrance to the roof. When entering the Clockwork room, players will be faced against 3 immobile nutcrackers. Rumors say that they only move when 3 clocks are running, and if done correctly, the trio will start attacking anything that comes in contact with them. We analyze that the blue one is the leader of the bunch, being in the middle and the only one to drop pearls. To contain the 3 of them, those toys are very old and players are able to find a little weakness by pulling out the cranky. Upside down in her bed, Soupy sadly died while sleeping, making this an eternal rest. This little girl was so scared of being in her bed that the only way to wake her up and contain her is to throw water into the bed. This portrait ghost is the only one we biologists have not enough information to give too much detail about her. Is she related to the old family that reside here? Why is the guest room upside down? I think Soupy is beyond our understanding. Collecting jar in the ceramic studio, Jarvis resembles a lot of how octopus survive in nature, gathering objects that strike their fancy and make them their own to hide inside of those. The same can be said to Jarvis, who now lives his afterlife inside some jars. To contain him, players will have to play a game of whack-a-mole by using ice to freeze Jarvis. But since he's an optional, players have the chance to let him live his dream of staying forever inside his jars. Frozen in the ice, Sir Weston is the only portrait ghost to live in the basement of the mansion. We theorize that this poor fella died in hypothermia. Since then, Weston wasn't ready to become a ghost and let himself freeze inside a huge block of ice. If players have enough courage, they can use the fire elemental ghost to melt this ice. The ghost will become enraged and we recommend containing him as fast as possible. Weston will deal massive damage by throwing icicle spike to the players. We are at least happy to see that he's letting a small fire near him to stay warm a little bit. Finally to the last portrait ghost, Vincent Van Gore, the one behind the living fauna of this mansion. An artist that passed away without selling any painting in his life in over 30 years. Vincent never refused to let his art die, and has the power to paint any regular ghost to make it come to life. Before containing him, players will have to capture his army of ghosts waiting patiently in the art studio. When no other ghost is around, Vincent Van Gore is nothing without his brush. We are now at our last categories of ghost. Being the main enemy and is kinda reason why this mansion exists in the first place, there's no need for an introduction, we are jumping into the boos. Serving their king, boos are hiding in every single room of this mansion. Having 50 of them, those ghosts are nearly impossible to find. Until a scientist named Professor Elvingard created a sensor on the Game Boy Horror to locate any boos in the area nearby. Their strength varies depending on the floor players are located, the higher, the stronger. If ever players are able to contain them all, they can call themselves the King of Hide and Seek. When reaching the balcony on the 3rd floor, we can observe 50 boos dancing around in a circle waiting for the prey to come nearby. Boos have the possibility of stacking themselves to morph into a giant entity called Boolossus. Containing Boolossus is nearly impossible because of his bigger size compared to a normal boo. Being circular enough to resemble a balloon, we recommend using something pointy to pop Boolossus into 50 fragments of himself. If done correctly and containing the 50 fragments, 15 of the 50 boos will no longer be a problem. Nemesis of players and the final boss of this mansion. King Boo is waiting patiently in the basement ready to attack anyone that is in his path. This ghost is the master of illusion, creating a completely functional Bowser. We don't think it's worth the trouble to contain him, since a lot of players have been missing since. King Boo will hide himself in the Bowser he created and will stay in there until players remove Bowser's head from the fight. We don't know if that power comes from the crown he possessed or because he was chosen king, but one thing is sure, is that without him, every single ghost of this mission would be living their afterlife if he wasn't there to begin with. It's truly magical to see that even if death is around every room and always of this mansion, Boo Woods have never been more alive. With a rich fauna each having their own personal characteristic, these ghosts will be remembered even after life.